My name is Ethan Chernofsky. I'm the VP of Marketing at Placer.ai. Placer.ai is a location analytics and foot traffic data platform that empowers retailers, professionals in commercial real estate, municipalities, and more to understand what's really happening offline. So I think there is one core challenge, and that kind of makes its way into other issues that retailers are facing in the brick and mortar environment. And the core challenge is a lack of visibility. So understanding what's happening in stores, understanding what's happening in the wider landscape offline, how are people moving between stores, what do these movement patterns mean? And that lack of visibility leads to some less strategic decisions. So the more information you're able to have, the wider the view you can bring to the table, the more effective each decision will be. So if I want to open up a new store, I want to maximize the chances of that store succeeding. If I want to understand how my audience is interacting with a marketing campaign, I want the best data possible in order to understand performance at the most granular level. And that can truly optimize everything I'm doing as a retailer. So when you're asking how these issues can be solved, the first step is utilizing data more effectively, whether it's a company's own data, but then third-party data sources like Placer.ai are going to bring that level of visibility that otherwise wouldn't exist. And it's not just going to help you understand your own actions, it's going to help you put context to those actions by providing an apples to apples comparison with all of the other players in the retail space. So that capacity to benchmark and bring contextual information into the mix can be a huge advantage in the decision-making process. So foot traffic analytics is the ability to understand how people move in the United States or in any specific region. We believe that people vote with their feet. And so what we want to show is how are people voting on a daily basis? Narrowing the gap in between digital and offline activities and e-commerce and offline commerce can be truly changed with foot traffic data. And I think the main reason is just the capacity to have true visibility. When you think of all of our online activities, we have accurate data to let us know what's working, what's not working, how we might change or optimize. We have the ability to test much faster, understand performance in a much more granular way. And I think the moment that you have that type of data in the offline environment, you have that same capacity in brick and mortar. And that's where the game changer is here. We know that brick and mortar brings higher conversions. We know that it's critical in terms of developing a relationship with our audiences. And the moment you can bring data into the mix, all of a sudden, all of those activities can be truly optimized across an entire retail footprint. So the top 5 benefits of foot traffic data for retailers, I'd say the first is just pure visibility. Understanding what's really happening offline is going to optimize that decision-making process. The second is site selection. Where do I want my stores to be? If I have to close stores, which stores should I close so that I'm still maximizing my potential on a day-to-day basis? The third element is marketing attribution. So we understand point of sale data, we understand what's happening within our stores, but we don't understand what's happening around us. So how many people come to my store? What's really driving that traffic? How is it having an ongoing impact? That's a huge element for the average retailer who has a brick and mortar presence. I'd say the fourth piece is just a pure understanding of my customer. What happens before and after? How do I understand that full customer journey? How do I enrich my demographic data by understanding the other brands that these people will frequent? And in that way, how do I create a more robust experience in an ongoing manner? Everything from which brand should I partner with? Who do I want to sit next to in a shopping center and beyond? And I think the last piece of the puzzle is, what does this data mean for my operations of a store in an ongoing way? So if I know that I have a spike in traffic that's coming in the middle of the year because I do a sale, how much is it really driving traffic? How do I want to change my staffing on a store-to-store basis? Even more than that, what are my competitors doing that sit nearby? So if I'm in a shopping center with another major retailer, and I know that last year on a specific sale day that they ran, it made their traffic increase twofold, I want to be aware of that and make sure I'm staffing accordingly to take over that traffic when those people leave that other store. So foot traffic analytics can fundamentally reimagine targeted marketing when you're talking offline. So we can be incredibly focused when we're doing digital activities, micro-influencers, sponsorships, and more, but we don't really know how that's driving changes in the brick and mortar environment. The moment you have foot traffic data and location analytics, you can see where the impact is on a store-by-store basis, where it's having an impact and where it's not having an impact. So getting down to that granular level of which areas are being impacted by which marketing campaigns and where it's driving that traffic, which stores are benefiting and which stores are being left behind, all this information can fundamentally change and improve the way we do targeted marketing. When you talk about personalization, the key is understanding who your audience is. Now, when you look at a company like ours, we're talking about aggregate anonymous data. So those general market trends and not on the personalization aspect. So there are values that this brings to the table, and it's certainly not in the personalization element, only because privacy has to be the primary concern. And so for a company like ours, we're always going to be focused on macro trends and not on the individual. The big trends that we see emerging, there's a handful that are really going to impact retail. One, there's a major vacuum that's been created by the closings of stores like Sears, Kmart, and more. And that's left this massive opportunity for newer brands to step in. So lots of direct-to-consumer brands like Casper, Bonobos, but also classically product-oriented brands like Nike, Lululemon are expanding their owned retail footprint in a really significant way, and we expect that to continue in a really significant manner. I think as a corollary to that, you also see the rise of newer brands. Because there are these openings, it's become much cheaper to test out what offline retail could mean for me or what expansion could mean for my brand. So that's a really important thing that's happening in the wider retail space. I think the other really big one is the change of the types of projects that are being launched on the commercial real estate side. So mega projects like Hudson Yards in New York, or the American Dream Mall in New Jersey, or the Boston Seaport in Massachusetts, is giving this new home for retailers to create a more comprehensive type of experience. Experiential retail is a huge component of it, but also the mix of what a retail environment is offering, from entertainment, more food, and how retail plays a role within that mix is going to have a huge impact on 2020 performance.